save 21% of the current water usage. And so there were a lot of cities that were saying, hey, we're already doing our part to conserve. So they ended up changing the formula depending on, how people used water. And in our region, it was between 16 and 21%. And when I say region, I mean in the Central Basin District, where we service 21 cities from Signal Hill to Whittier to Norwalk to East LA to Carson. And we've met our goals. We've actually exceeded our goals by 6%. So we've exceeded our drinking water goals, and we're happy that we've been able to do that. We're going to continue to do that by continuing to ask people to tear out their lawns, and to install water efficient toilets, to install water efficient appliances in their home, et cetera, et cetera.
And now that I actually got to see the facility and stuff, another cool thing that I noticed is the usage of solar power. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, well, we use a lot of energy to bring water in. We use a tremendous amount of energy, and so what the Metropolitan Water District decided to do was to install these solar panels to help us generate our own energy, to basically reduce our reliance on the energy from the companies that we buy the energy from, and not just reduce our reliance, but also kind of create our own source and help maintain the water, the cost of water lower. Water is free. We can't charge for water. But when we pay our water bill, what we're doing is we're paying for importing it. We're paying for all of the facilities that we use to import the water, and we're also paying for cleaning the water, making sure that it's up to the standards, the drinking water standards. And so by installing these solar panels, our water bill has reduced, and we're creating our own source so that we can push the water to the cities that we provide water for.
And another cool thing that I noticed on the trip is, some of these technologies, they're huge, and there's these big old tubes and stuff. And I think the guy mentioned that there was this test they do, when something messes up, there's literally backups for the backups, all there for power in case something gives out. There's right away a plan B and stuff for everything.
Absolutely. Well, we want to make sure that our residents continue to get their water. We've never had a problem where, you open up your faucet and no water comes out. We have we invest a lot of resources in making sure that our water is safe drinking water, in making sure that we can provide a reliable supply, meaning that whenever you turn your faucet on, water's going to come out. So, and to protect, our water with all of the, security concerns that we've had in our nation, making sure that we protect our water and the water supply from any potential threats is a priority for Central Basin and also for the Metropolitan Water District. As you learned, because, when you signed up for that inspection trip, you had to go through a security check. You had to provide us, you couldn't take pictures in certain facilities. So we do everything that we can to make sure that, again, the drinking water is safe, and that the supply of water is consistent in your homes.
Yeah, and then when I looked at the facility too, the technology and stuff, one of the things that they assured also was all the equipment is all sturdy. Literally, there's a test, they'll use these big old cement blocks that are the equivalent of the same weight, and they'll have a chopper pick it up and test it on a safe place to drop it, and to make sure that it's the same weight and then nothing breaks. So you're all completely assured that everything is top of the line. We never have to worry about the water, any accident or anything.
Yeah, we take our jobs very seriously, and we always want to make sure it's our responsibility, again, to provide clean water, to provide a safe and reliable source, for our residents. And, we're the biggest water agency in the nation, and we have the nation's top-notch, professionals that are working to secure our water supply every day.
And we'll be right back after these public service announcements.
Street corner groups, storefront studios, but it was an incredibly exciting time of discovery and growth. Steve Probst has seen and heard it all. He tells you the stories and plays you the music and talks to the people who made it every night at 10 Pacific on the Steve Probst 45 show on WPMD on the net. Listen to rock from the beginning on the Steve Probst 45 show every night at 10 Pacific on WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
As a parent, you can't help but look at your child and wonder what the future holds. You may dream about the possibility of your son or daughter becoming a professional athlete or a renowned heart surgeon. But while you're dreaming, consider this: the odds that your child will be diagnosed with autism is 1 in 68. Knowing the signs of autism and addressing it early can make the world of a difference to your child and you. To learn the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Again, that's autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by the Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Ann Geddes. Every 2 seconds, somewhere in the world, a baby is born too soon. Did you know that premature birth is the leading cause of newborn deaths, not just in the US, but around the world? With each week these precious babies stay and thrive in the womb, the risk of disabilities is significantly reduced. It's not too late to make a difference. Premature birth can be prevented, and new lives can be saved. The March of Dimes has created a network of prematurity research centres developing new treatments that will assist in making a difference. The March of Dimes continues to work with parents, the medical community and governments to bring improved prenatal care to mothers and their babies. Give every newborn a chance to be born healthy. Join with me and the March of Dimes. Take the first step. Visit marchofdimes.org.
And we are back here on the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob Flores, here in WPMP Studios, located in Norwalk, California, at Cerritos College. Go Falcons! And ladies and gentlemen, if you're here on campus, take a look at Falcon Square. There seems to be an event going on, and there's lots of information tables out there, so feel free to go check it out. And I'm here with my guest, the director of the Central Water Basin, and and can you explain, there's multiple directors, but each one represents certain cities and stuff.
Oh yeah, we have a 5-member board of directors. The Central Basin was established by the voters in 1952, so we've been around for a really long time. And as I mentioned, our primary responsibility is to provide an additional supply or supplemental supply of water to the 22 cities and the unincorporated areas that we serve. And we have a 5-member board of directors. We have in Division 1, we have Director James Roybal, who represents the cities of Bell Gardens, Downey, Montebello, Pico Rivera, West Whittier, Los Nietos, and unincorporated areas of LA County. And then we have in Division 2, we have Director Bob Apodaca, who represents the cities of La Habra Heights, La Mirada, Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs, Whittier, and South Whittier. And in Division 3, we have Director Art Chacon, who represents the cities of Bell, Commerce, Cudahy, Huntington Park, Maywood, Monterey Park, Vernon, and unincorporated areas of East LA. And then we have myself, and I'm the director for Division 4, and I represent the cities of Linwood, Southgate, Florence, Firestone, Florence Graham, which are basically unincorporated areas of LA County, Willowbrook, parts of Compton and Carson, and then we have Director Phil Hawkins, who is the representative for Division 5, and he represents the cities of Artesia, Bellflower, Cerritos, Hawaiian Gardens, Lakewood, Paramount, and Signal Hill. And so the 5-member board of directors is elected, every 4 years by the citizens that reside in the districts that they represent. And, as I mentioned, we basically work on, public policy that impacts water. One of the projects that we've been working on very aggressively as of recently is we've been, because the governor declared the drought, we've been working with the cities to amend their ordinances, their city laws. An ordinance is basically a city law, and city council members are responsible for, writing and developing and passing city laws. And so a lot of these cities, in our area, including Norwalk and Linwood and Montebello and all the cities I mentioned that we represent, they have laws that require that their residential areas have grass. And so, as we talked about, one of the things that we've been doing is trying to get people to understand that, we need to save water. And the majority of our water consumption is outdoor. Okay, so the only way that we're going to get people to start saving water is to get them to understand that we shouldn't waste so much water on outdoor usage. So we've been working with the cities to get them to change their ordinances that require their residents to have grass. Because there are a lot of cities that most of the cities require their residents, their residential areas to have grass. So we're working with them to change their ordinances to let people remove their grass and to put in drought-tolerant plants, and to replace it with synthetic turf or anything else that's not going to require so much water. So we've been very successful in the city of Southgate. Lakewood has been very aggressive in helping us reduce our outdoor water usage, and they amended their ordinance. Cerritos amended their ordinance. So I think we've been doing a really great job with that, and we're going to continue to work with the cities to do that.
For those that are interested in joining the education field, but they're not too sure exactly in what area in particular of emphasis they want to teach, can you explain the differences between teaching K-12 and college?
I had, as I mentioned to you, I had, the privilege of going back to school and getting a couple of teaching credentials and getting a master's in education. And one of the things that I learned in my master's program is I learned how to teach, right? So that's what the teaching credential program is about. People teach you how to teach. And what I learned with working with such a diverse age group is that you really use the same strategies, the same strategies that you use to teach in kindergarten, you use them at the college level. You just have to adjust the actual techniques that you use. So, for example, everyone is like an audio learner. Either you learn by listening, you learn by doing, or you learn by seeing. Okay, and that's just how everyone learns. So then you have different strategies that you use in those 3 different areas to teach, and so what I learned is that teaching, you have to figure out how people learn, and then once you figure that out, then you use the strategies. You adjust the strategy to the age group to teach what you want to teach. So, for example, like at the college level, when I was as I teach political science, one of the things that I do is that because most of us learn by doing, and so when I teach my lesson about local government, I have my students either watch a city council meeting, or attend a city council meeting, or attend a school board meeting, or watch a school board meeting online, right? So that way they can see for themselves. So then when I'm teaching a lesson about what local government is, of course I talk about what city councils are, what school board members are. Then my students have already seen that, and they can see what it is, and then I can engage them more about further into the topic. What is it that they're responsible for doing? Why do they exist? All that stuff. So at the elementary, if I'm teaching at the elementary level, then I probably want to have some activity with them, create some activity, because kids, especially K in first and second grade, they want to do. So I will create some scenario for them, role-playing scenario, where I'm teaching them what a city council person is, or they do a role-play activity about what a local government is. So yeah, I mean, I think as an educator, I would certainly encourage someone to visit a classroom at the different, with the different age groups, so that you can get a feel for the audience and who you're going to be working with, and figure out, what age group you're most comfortable with working with. When I first started working in education, I remember thinking, like, there's no way that I can teach kindergarten or first or second grade, right? Because they need so much attention. They really do need a lot of hands-on attention. And so that was why I started teaching in middle school and high school, because I just felt like it was more natural for me at the time. And then I got in the classroom and worked with them and learned that when I started studying education, I realized that I could really go into any environment with the tools that I had and work with any age.
And we are on our final 2 minutes, but you had mentioned, being inspired also by siblings as well. Some people, they're either first generation, or they have someone that they can be motivated by following someone as an inspiration. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I have two older siblings. Actually, my sister, she was the first one to come to college, and she came to Cerritos College. She's an alumni of Cerritos College. So I always followed them. But I think the hammer was my mom, okay? Because my mom came here when she was 16 years old to work as a nanny. She had, I think, a 6th grade education. My mom loved education. She loved school. And when she came here, she went back to school and got her GED. After she finished there, she decided she wanted to go to Compton College. So she enrolled in Compton College. And as little kids, I remember being, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, Actually, I can never remember a time my mom was not a student up until she graduated. She got her degree from Cal State Dominguez. The year that I became mayor of the city of Linwood in 2006, she got her degree from Cal State Dominguez. And in terms of education and in terms of, role models, my mother has always been a very big role model for me because not only with education, but just with life in general. You always hear people say things. My mom knew that her kids were watching her, so she always set an example, and she did what she expected us to do. And so, in terms of education, she's definitely the one that had the most influence.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here on the Falcon Spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this edition of Falcon Spotlight. But for those that would like to get in contact with you, how can they reach you?
I can be reached at www.centralbasin.org. You can click on to Director L. Vasquez. My email address is lvasquez@centralbasin.org. And you can reach me there.
Thank you very much.
Or they can call you.
Cool. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday to Falcon Spotlight at 10 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. Until next time, folks.